Hello everyone. It's the perfect minute in the city of Los Angeles. Anyone who remembers my essay on magic, or specifically the one after it, on time, knows that there's only one perfect minute. And that's 12:36. 6 is the only perfect number between 0 and 10, whose factors are 1, 2, and 3. And it's doubly perfect because it's the sum of its fractions as well as the sum of its factors. Right? I allege this is why we see it in time. Right? Quentin's casting his magic spells right now. Hello, Brian Jennings here, the Critical Sorcerer. This channel exists to discuss whatever I want to discuss. But since maybe March or so of this year, it's been primarily dedicated to discussing the nature of my relationship with Quentin Tarantino and the movie Critic. Right? His 10th and final film. I wrote him a series of letters about playing the lead. I'm a classical actor. I care about playing Hamlet. But I made my case, and it's a good case. And that set into motion a sequence of events that led to him canceling the film and led to where we are now. I've said this whole story 1,000 fucking times. I'm sick of telling this story. But I know that I guess I have to. And I did this backwards. God damn it. That's okay. We'll just bring it back out. Right? I have to talk about it until there's resolution. Right? And so resolution. Right? There is no resolution. Actually, now that I think about it. I acknowledge that. But in that way, I have to talk about it to protect my life. Right? Because if I stop talking about it, if I take everything down, I'm sewing right now, then, right, I have a powerful enemy. Right? As it stands, I have a powerful enemy. But if we're talking about it, if the public is in on the joke, right, that's its own psychic answer, isn't it? Right? Like him and the people closest to him are like hovering over me, right, to compel me to suicide, to compel me to madness, right, with powers that he can always deny. And so, right, I could just wallow and go, oh gosh, he's so evil, he's so ugly, right? And it's as evil and ugly as it gets. Right? Or I can talk about it. And this is what I was discussing in the video that I made yesterday, that now I'm at acceptance. Now I see, okay, you're, right, I want to call him a degenerate, but I don't know anymore. I don't know. Yeah, if he's lost. He's lost spiritually. He's never known who he is. He's always been looking for something. Right? I see now how important this thing is to him. And in that way, I have nothing but regrets over not giving him what he wanted. Because I wanted to give him everything that he wanted. And so that was just, as a refresher, right? That was a screening of Jackie Brown last year, where he set me up to be an instant movie star. But in so doing, right, I had to submit my mind. And so when he didn't want to take my letter, I saw perversion in that because he had been remote viewing me every day for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, as much or as little as he wanted. And so he turned his back on me and I turned my back on him. That's my right. That's my right. Right? It was stupid. But now it's just become dangerous. It's become dangerous and ugly and evil. And so we have to talk about it. Right? He's allowed to say I'm insane. Like that's like I get it. Right? I'm a crazy fan. Right? Show him my letters out of context. I get it. but I'm allowed to say that he's the most evil man in the world. And so that's what I'm going to do forever. Right? Money solves nothing. This is not about money. If I cared about money, I would have bent the knee on his terms. Right? This is about clearing the air about the movie critic. That's all. Right? When Quentin says, "Oh, I didn't want to I didn't think that it was interesting. I didn't want to make LA into a different city again." Right? That's all bullshit, because he actually canceled the film because I started reviewing movies in protest, and he knew that I was going to bury that movie in reviews, and there would be a million words in protest from me, not from anyone else. There's two ways of asking a question: the positive and the negative. The first way of asking a question is, why doesn't he want to make it? Right? And then you have these aloof, auteur, poo-poo, I'm an artist. Right? And then the other way of asking the question, in the negative, is who's giving him a reason to not make it? And that's a better question, isn't it? Right? I think it was Chekhov that said it's not the answer, it's how you phrase the question. And so, right, of course, there's no one else that gave him a reason to not make it. And I wrote him immediately. As soon as he canceled the film, I wrote him. I tried to do everything that I needed, right? And he didn't think that I needed anything, right? Because he's a powerful clairvoyant. Right? And so, I turned my back on a career. And if he had just paid me $2 million for my scene, I sent him a scene, this is about my scene, right? I would have just been a loser. I would have just been a loser who squandered a beautiful opportunity to be intuitive, right? Because that was him loving me. That was him showing me he loved me. But instead of doing that, instead of actually being cool, right? Because that's what a cool guy would do. A cool asshole. He would rather say, "Oh no, I'm gonna double down, and I'm gonna destroy his mind as best as I'm able. With this psychic thing, with my mind. Because I can always deny it, and he'll just seem insane." And so, right, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, right, put us both on a polygraph, right? It's time, right? It's time to discuss it in the light of day, right? And I know, he never wants to do that. He never wants to do that. And so, I'll talk about it for both of us. And as long as I keep promoting these videos, I'll keep getting more followers, even if they all live in India. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying I'm American, you know. But, right? Even if they all live in anywhere else but America. Right? But my point is that, if I keep promoting my videos, I will keep getting subscribers, good Lord willing, right? Because I have to bring the public into the conversation, right? And again, right, what does Robert De Niro have to say about it? What does Sam Jackson have to say about it? What do all these cats have to say about it in relation to me, right? Like nuts on the table, right? Oh, this guy says that he's the reason, right? For sure, Robert De Niro can't deny me. He can call me a coward. Right? He can call me a pansy. He can call me all kinds of shit. Right? But he can't say that I'm lying. Unless he wants to lie for Quentin. Right? Are all these cats prepared to lie for Quentin forever? Right? And so, it's getting to that point where I'm about to start writing everyone. Everyone. And I'm going to put it all on here. Right? And so, right, this is the answer, right? Like, he turned it into this ugly psychic siege that has no pathway for resolution except through talking about it, right? They say, I hope the Holy Spirit, washes over you. Yeah, right? Like, this is the point that I tell everyone in my life. It's like, doesn't matter how much spiritual insight I have, which is far more than most, right? That if Quentin wants to be an evil, angry degenerate, that's That ain't got nothing to do with how much I love Jesus, does it? Right? I could do the same things, right? But he's a sick, evil man, right? And he's not prepared to endure what I've endured. Right? My point being that this is the only pathway to recourse that I have. If I had any money at all, I could get a lawyer. Right? But as long as he, right, again, this is a testament to his depravity. Like, if what I'm saying is true, and it is true, it's always been true, right, that he's spent some 200 hours remote viewing me, right, then he has engendered a dangerous condition psychologically in himself, right? And this is my point when I say, oh, his intention was always to compel me to madness, always to compel me to suicide, to blow my brains out. Then he would say, oh, yeah, cool, right? Like, yeah, the movies, they're like so fucking serious. Yeah, like I did the thing. Like, oh, yeah, his life force, his energy. Yeah, Luciferian, right? Like, just real ugly, right? And ridiculous. As far as taking himself too seriously. When again, he could have just been honest. He could have just, right, paid me for my scene, said, I like the scene, but you blew it. Instead, everything's occulted and, enigmatic and cunning and guile. And so, right, I'm sick of just enduring it. That's why I make these videos every day. And I'll keep making them every day because I know there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. He could torture me as much or as little as he wants, right? That these are the kinds of games that he plays with people, right? And I'm sure that that's why no critics have the balls to say the truth about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because none of them want to get the business end of Quentin's wrath. Right? I didn't think that he was like actually evil. Right? I would have given him what he wanted if I knew that he was actually evil. Like he's actually evil. He's the most evil man in the world. Right? He put what he does, right, with the actors in his films, with anyone that he wants, as a character trait for Charles Manson in his novel, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the novelization. Right? He put like, oh, tee hee hee hee. Like, look how clever I am. God fucking damn it. Sorry, I'm back to sewing by hand. Eventually, the internet can't help you. And so that's like kind of where I'm at. That like I have this idea. It's like, oh, I want to make this pattern. I want to use this fabric to make clothes out of. And so you look up, it's like, okay, like this is what the internet says, and there's literally no videos at all about what I'm trying to do specifically. And so I tried to do it with a machine, and now I'm back to sewing by hand. Right? Like I don't want to talk about this forever. Right? That doesn't actually interest me, right? My life is more than my shortcomings, right? It's my fault. Tribeca's my fault. In his mind, he was like, oh, he wants to be a movie star. He'll give me what I want. And in my mind, I was like, now he'll take my writing. Right? That we were both playing the same game. That's my point. And in his mind, he said, oh no, I'm the only magic one in this formula. And now he knows that I care more about honesty. I hated myself for months. I thought, oh gosh, he gave me this beautiful opportunity and I blew it. Right? And so I let him play his games for like 6 months until right the beginning of the year when I started remote viewing, when I started expressing my knowing on the psychic landscape. And after just a handful of days, he admitted that everything that he had been telling me is bullshit, right? And so everything that I'm talking about is the subject of my novel, which is called Building a Coven. And I have one really dedicated subscriber, really nice guy. And he said he wanted a copy, but of course I can't work on it. I can't do like hardly anything. Right? Without him being fucking evil, right? And so that's why we're just gonna talk about it every day forever. That's like, okay, major point, dude. You don't want me to write, you don't want me to play guitar, you don't want me to do anything other than suffer. So we'll just talk about how you make me suffer. That's like fair enough, right? I don't have to be a movie star. I'm moving on with my life, right? I dedicate all of my time towards bettering myself, towards excellence. And again, I can't stress this enough, right? Like, he gave me that little bit of light, but it wasn't enough for me. I wanted him to show me that he accepts my writing. And I know that's a shallow, lazy answer. But it's the truth. There is no other answer. There's no other answer. That's the truth, right? I stuck my letter all the way up to his face. He turned his back, so I turned mine. Right? He didn't want to say, honestly, what he wants me to do. So, right? I took the coward's way out because I don't want to bark like a dog, right? That's not, right? And again, I couldn't relax. I hated myself, right? We were making history together, right? However, right? He took it upon himself to turn it into an exercise in clairvoyance. And I don't like playing those games. My mind is mine. Right? So, all that's left is evil. Right? It was subtle for a while. Him and the people around him. Right? Played with my mind. Got me to get all of my heroes turned against me. Right? And for them to just believe Quentin, they're obviously not as cool as I thought they were. And so that's, right, like, that's unfortunate. But eventually, right, I had to start remote viewing. I had to start trying to figure out what the fucking truth of it all is. To sift through the muck. Like, yeah, you can, okay, dude, like, I get it. You can remote view people. Right? And so within days, right, there's no daughter, it's all bullshit. And I've been trying to come clean ever since. Ever since. Again, because that's its own psychic relay, isn't it? Right? That, you can use your mind to torture someone and try to destroy someone. That's one tactic. Right? Or you can use your mind to bring 5 million people, to bring the whole world into the conversation. And that's its own psychic tactic, isn't it? Right? This is why I wrote the press, right? Like, all of the press are in his pocket, I guess. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm interested in a story, right? I'm just supposed to, right? I'm just supposed to believe that the famous guy is always telling the truth, right? I wonder how many people said that about Jeffrey Epstein. Right? So my point is that I'm using the tactics that I'm comfortable with, right? I could get hypodermic needles too, right? I could get voodoo dolls too. I got a whole fucking box of pins, right? Right? Or I could blast him with the chemical geometry of love, oxytocin. Right? It's all the same thing. Right? I have no choice but to endure it. I have no choice but to accept that I have this diseased, pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino and perhaps everyone around him. Right? The people like some weird esoteric order in Los Angeles that think that these tactics are like appropriate and cool. Right? It makes literally no sense to me at all. Right? They all betray the light of God within themselves. That's my point. All of them. Every single one of them. In indulging his sick perversions of thought. So, I might not publish this one. I don't want to seem racist. I don't mean anything when I say that they're all Indian. I just mean that, like, there's a huge culture gap there. I'm interested to know and to learn. But I feel like a lot of times... Anyway, I'm not racist. I got nothing but love for everyone. Hopefully my Indian subscribers all love me too. And if they want to comment and say something unique that defines their culture, I would love to hear it. My point is just that it surprised me a lot when I got a bunch of international subscribers. That was something that I didn't account for. I know that we'll never be free of each other. I do acknowledge that. Unless, right? Time can pass, and it will pass, whether we like it or not. And hopefully he won't actually murder me. You know, that's essentially that's all I can do is hope that he's not actually evil. But we're going to be very close for a long time, perhaps for the rest of our lives. I accept that. I acknowledge that. And so, right? You can believe me, you cannot believe me, but this is the condition. This is the condition. Right? Again, no one has to believe me. No one has to believe me. Right? Ask Robert De Niro. Ask the director for the Tribeca Film Festival. Ask his agent, Mike Simpson. Right? All these people. Right? Like literally, it's like a dozen people. Ask Stacey Sher. Ask Sam Jackson. Right? Ask Olivia Wilde. Right? Anyone who was supposed to act in that movie, they all know who I am. Right? And I understand his frustration on one level. It should have been enough, sure. Sure. Right? Your clairvoyance wasn't enough. That's the point. So, I have to talk about it every day. Life emerges out of an abstraction. That at the foundation of life is stillness, which is God. The pure absentia of the void is perpetually pregnant with all of creation. And it divides itself into a series of emanations. The first two is an infinite complex nesting of polyhedra, which is the subatomic structural scaffold for all of manifested life. All within all. So perfectly nested, it cannot be expressed physically. Right? And so the other half is the impetus for motion. That a pressure of love and giving is exerted upon creation, upon the subspatial structuring, which mutates it into a specific geometry, engendering electric resistance until it can no longer remain inert space because the electric resistance is so high and erupts into incandescence as physical matter. As soon as motion begins, entropy is operating in tandem along with it. As the pendulum swings, the pendulum must stop swinging. From dust to dust, alpha to omega. Space becomes matter, matter becomes space. At the end of this evolutionary chain is man. The grand design always leads to man. Because man is the only creature that betrays the structure of its biology and gives us our hands, which allows us to do more, right? That we can impinge upon the firmament of space in the same way that the impetus for motion, right, which is the divine light of deity, right, a ray of creation, imposes pressure, engenders of motive force upon the quantum hologram, which thereby engenders physical matter to emerge out of space, right? Which means that we're the only thing that can offer a sincere, novel piece of creation back towards our Creator as a moment of veneration. And on the highest levels of that unfolding, of that understanding, is the psychic medium and the clairvoyant. On a primary level is the good artist, the good writer, the good painter. And then on a secondary level is the scholar, like Plato, Pythagoras, like Einstein, right? Using their conscious awareness to manipulate the conscious field, combine new things together. And then on the highest levels of that is the psychic clairvoyant medium, who can do almost anything with their mind if they understand what's occurring in life. And so, right, a nun can hover over someone and take the diseases from their body into theirs through prayer, through meditation, through being close to God, through fasting, all these things, right? And far easier, right? They're both the same things. They hearken at the same tactics, right? You can use your mind to try to push diseases into someone, to fracture the hologram around someone, to poison their body. So this is what's happening to me, what has been happening. He can always deny it, right? But it's the same tactics. It's all the same tactics. He wanted me to question him about cinema speculation. Then when I didn't do that, he started using that same facility to try to destroy me. And so now all that's left is disgusting, vulgar evil, right? Case study in remote viewing. He spent some 200 hours remote viewing me, which, if any of you remember my square law, means that our connection is 40,000 times stronger than your average person. And again, right, I'm not just talking out of my ass. There's 15 plus people that are all aware of me in relation to the movie critic. He does not live in a vacuum. 9601 Wilshire Boulevard. That's the address. Pray for me. Pray for Quentin. Pray to bring this to an amicable resolution. Like, comment, subscribe, share. All the best.